top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. We're going to go out this live again. As committed, I will be doing more lives. I'm committing my life to my children, my family, and outside of that, working to bring this information to as many human beings as possible to help as many people as possible get out of the just over broke mindset. Doesn't mean you have to get out of your job, but reprogramming your subconscious mind to a wealth paradigm. So I'm going to wait for just a moment to see if you guys can give me a thumbs up, give me a like if you can hear this. Actually, I can't even tell if you can hear this. I'm back in the same situation, but we'll rock this out, Warriors. So we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off. So you guys give me a couple thumbs up really quickly. So there's 3 people on. Boom, there we go. Okay, let's go. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me okay before we kick this off? We're good to go. All right, so we're going to jump right into it, Warriors. I'm going to be doing more of these whiteboard type videos. This is the way that I like to learn. This is how my brain works. I have a whiteboard in my office here. I have, if you see some of my videos in the background on my walls, I have papers on my walls and I write a lot, okay? So I spend almost all of my time outside of my children working on helping understand the system. Okay, so I'm a generator in human design. My job is to go out, to test, to build, to create safety, and teach. So I want to share with you guys my perspective of where I think we're going from 2022 all the way to 2030. And I'm going to use this whiteboard here. I do, excuse me for the lack of spelling and stuff like that. I do have dyslexia. So if you see some spelled words, just try to listen to the content and understanding. So I'm not going to do some fancy edited videos. We're just going to get right into it. So what are you going to learn in this video today? What you're going to learn is how my brain works and how I'm thinking about this new monetary system and where we are moving to in the future. I'm going to give you as many facts, figures, numbers, logic as I can to help you gain understanding or understanding of where I think we're going. That's why don't get caught up in the micro. The crypto is way down right now, so the cryptocurrencies that I am stacking right now, so I have my bags packed into Xrp, I have my bags packed in XLM. The ones that I'm buying right now are CRO. I just bought some more Ethereum today. I'm a huge fan of Ethereum. VeChain, VeChain, VeChain. I'm stacking up VeChain. I think it's sitting at 2 cents right now. Don't quote me on it. I think it's since 2 cents. Not financial advice. But let's dive through how my brain works and where I think we're going and why our warriors stay so calm. We don't trip, we buy the dip, and we diamond hands, okay? We don't trip, we buy the dip, and we diamond hands. Okay, so let's dive into it. So we're going to start back in 2008. Well, let's start in 1971. So in 1971, we detached from the gold standard, and from 1971 to 2022, we have not had a backed currency, right? So around 1943 or 1945, we had the Bretton Woods Standard. We broke free from the Bretton Woods Standard, and we broke away from an asset-backed currency. So what that means is, I'm going to speak as people have never heard this before, but what that means is our dollar is not backed by anything. Now we do have something that's been saving us for a very long time, is that all the oil has been traded in US dollars. But you're starting to see a narrative around that as well that's starting to change a little bit around the petrodollar. So I'm going to walk you all the way from 2008. I'm going to fast forward to 2008. In January 2009, the inception of Bitcoin to where I think we're at, okay? So this is a big macro look at it versus getting caught up in the price right now. Okay, so in 2008, we had a massive financial collapse, okay? It was one of the biggest housing collapses in history, right? So you had all these people doing non-income stated loans, okay? People are going into a bank with a business and not even after stating their income, and we're getting interest-only loans. They were getting 3-year, 5-year, and 7-year ARMs. So what that means is some people are getting $1 million homes and only needed to pay interest for 7 years. And so when I went into banking in 2007, going into 2008, I think it was 2007 I started, October, as I started to ask myself, I went in during the collapse. And so I started seeing these people come in, had barely any money in their account, trying to foreclose on homes or worried about foreclosing on a home. It was like $1 million. I'm like, how did you afford $1 million home? And I started to question the system way back then, years and years ago, and go, who allowed people to do non-income stated loans? You have to really think about that type of stuff. Don't just listen to the media. Who allowed them to do somebody at the top of the house did, right? So we had this massive financial housing collapse. And then right around 2009, Bitcoin came out, January 2009. So we had this massive financial collapse. And then January 2009, Bitcoin comes out from Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody still knows who invented Bitcoin. Think about that for just a moment. Nobody knows who invented Bitcoin. That's not what we're here to talk about, but the inception of Bitcoin started in 2009 after one of the biggest financial collapses. Now you're going to see this bubble up here where I have BlackRock, right? BlackRock, one of the largest asset managers in the world, was tapped by the feds to rebalance out the markets. So think about that. The largest asset manager in the world was tapped by the feds to rebalance out the markets, okay? Money and politics go hand in hand always. So from 2008 all the way to 2020, we were in a 2022, but stay with me on this, okay? We were in a low interest rate and cheap money environment. So what does cheap money mean? When wealthy people say cheap money, when interest rates are super, super low, wealthy people borrow money to buy assets, and the working poor borrow money to buy things that make the wealthier wealthier, okay? Think about that for just a moment. So wealthy people borrow for tax benefits too. You don't get taxed when you borrow, but they also borrow to buy more assets. Let me give you an example. So a wealthy person would borrow some money from the bank at 3%. And if they found something that would make 6%, say they're making, let's just say Bitcoin, they're making 6% on their Bitcoin or 6% on some investment. So they would borrow $100,000 at 3%, go buy the investment that's making 6%, and now they have a 3% margin on that, right? And they're paying back the loan, okay? They're paying back the loan, and then if they have to take any money out of the asset, they can borrow from the asset, and there's no taxes. So you just run the money back and forth, okay? Because there's still a 3% margin. You good with that? Okay. So there was low interest rates and cheap money for a very, very, very long time, and then boom, in 2020, we all get shut down. Now remember, in 2019, the World Economic Forum had a pandemic preparedness drill around November or October 2019. And then all of a sudden, as we're sitting there celebrating Christmas, we had no idea that our whole life was going to change. Oh, is it not working again? Is there no audio, guys? Is the audio really bad? I don't want to go for an hour again, no audio. Give me a thumbs up, comments. I promise we're going to get the mics fixed. I promise, guys, we're going to be working on that. I didn't want to be missed. Could you guys throw some comments in there? Because I don't want to continue if it's not. I went an hour last time. No audio, good. Okay, so I'm going to get right through it, but I promise you guys, thank you for the feedback. I'm going to get wireless mics. We're going to get it hooked up. But I don't have time to make it stop right now. Make it stop. I got to get this information out to you guys. So thank you for the feedback. We're going to get wireless mics all set up this week, okay? All right, so here we are. We got low interest rates, cheap money, boom, 2020, they shut us down. By March 2020, our whole lives get turned upside down. So think about that, okay? I'm not gonna say any words, but I just want you to listen with discernment. All of a sudden we get shut down. The whole world gets shut down though, not just America. The whole world gets shut down. Everybody. We all get locked in our houses. They shut everything down. They shut down businesses, and then they turn on the printing machine. They just turn it on full blast. They turn on the printing machine with very low interest rates in place. So now money is flowing into the system to support businesses, right? Support businesses, and that money machine is turned on. The wealthiest people in the world have cheap money. This is just my opinion. Cheap money and low interest rates. Okay, so they're getting all this money for their businesses. Corporations are getting bailed out. There's stimulus money popping in, PPP loans. You can get better business bureau loans. And the interest rate is so freaking low. And so what they're doing is stacking assets because they know that this is coming. Okay, so then in 2021, I put this, tons of money started getting printed, right? Tons and tons and tons of money. Now around 2020 going into 2021, the feds were buying junk bonds, right? So junk bonds are junkier debt on the system, and they have a higher rate of return. So they're helping these companies that are zombie companies that are putting no growth into the market, right? They're pumping money into them. Then they start buying junk bonds to keep these companies alive. So then the head of the Fed starts talking about interest rates hikes and transitory inflation. He just starts hinting about it in 2021. Now your life is completely turned upside down by now. You got stimulus checks coming in. People are happy because the money's coming in. They're testing the UBI, Universal Basic Income. And then he starts talking about this interest rates hike coming in 2022. and inflation. But everybody's so worried about all these things happening over here, right? The Kardashians, and then going into this year was Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. So it's like the Coliseum, right? So keep looking over here, and we're switching everything this way. Okay, this is nothing new under the sun. This has happened over and over again. This happened in Roman days. Okay, so now you have this talk of transitory inflation, 2021 going into 2022. So hopefully you guys can see the board over here. So I'm going to go 2022 to 2025 to 2025 to 2030. So in 2022, we come rolling into 2022. We just start recovering from this pandemic, and then boom, we get smashed with high interest rates. Interest rates start going up. The housing market's booming. People are making tons of money off their houses again. People are flipping their houses or getting out of their houses, and then interest rates shoot up, and then your mortgage doubles. Shit. Okay. And then gas prices go up to about $3 to $4. Now you're sitting there $5, $6. They're going to be going up to $10. The cost of protein has skyrocketed. I just bought some steak. It was like $109 for some steak. So everything is going up. Now the next wave that's coming, where's the next wave that's coming in 2022 right here? Well, let's stop for just a moment. The transition from 2020 to 2022 was the shift. It was like the line in the sand. It's like we are now moving to another system. Because remember, right here, they kept saying cryptocurrency is a fraud. Cryptocurrency is a speculative asset, but when we ran into 2022, when they started raising interest rates and inflation started going up, all of a sudden their narrative changed. A quick switch to, oh, cryptocurrency is here to stay. They started saying that after interest rates went up, okay? They started saying that when inflation started going up, and then Janet Yellen was talking about stable coins at the exact same time that Terra Luna collapses. Interesting. So they're saying cryptocurrency is a fraud. Jamie Dimon tells you you're a criminal a couple years ago if you buy Bitcoin. But then all of a sudden, when money's not cheap anymore, and interest rates are going up, and inflation is going up, all of a sudden, cryptocurrency is here to stay. Rosie Rios said it. Janet Yellen, I believe, has said it. Elizabeth Warren started talking about it. Jerome Powell has started to say, okay, yeah, crypto's here to stay. We just got to figure out how to regulate it. Oh, and in between all this, guys, there was a Ripple case thrown out in 2020, ironically, in the middle of a massive pandemic, right? Why was that? And why isn't it settled by now? That's interesting. If you really look at the SEC cases and you dive into the SEC website, you'll see that most cases are settled within 12 months and some within 24 months. Why is this one going on so long? Isn't it a simple, it's a security or it's not a security? Isn't it? I don't know. I'm not a litigation person, but it seems kind of weird that we haven't, you can't figure out security or it's not, right? Is it a security or is it not? Was it traded as a security or is it not? It's because it's by design. They're moving us into a new Howey test, right? Cryptocurrency is a brand new asset class. So what they did is they took a step back, they printed money like crazy, interest rates were cheap as hell, they borrowed money, they got their bags packed, warriors. They got their bags packed. That's why these hedge funds are buying single family homes. They're buying assets, as the working class is about to get smashed. Okay, so now here we are. So I think we're feeling good. Give me a thumbs up if we're feeling good about 2008 to 2022. Okay, so now we're in a high interest rate environment. Give me a thumbs up if you want to go to 2025. We got high interest rate environment. We got high inflation. We got jobs. The next thing is the massive layoff. There's going to be massive layoffs. Tesla just announced a 10% layoff. The reason why, warriors, it costs a shitload for gas now. It costs a shitload for food. It costs a lot for supply chain now. So companies are going to have to start laying people off. Now that's the next excuse for where we're heading, okay? So I think we can all agree, if you're watching this, that blockchain is here to stay. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. I don't know who the winners and losers are, but I think I know. That's why I have a pretty broad, fundamental, diversified portfolio. 10% are weighted in shitcoins. If those completely disappear, like an NFT just got rug pulled, completely disappeared, didn't matter. That was throwaway money. But the rest of my cryptos are in fundamental, long-term investments. If you want, in the Warrior Academy, click the link down below. You'll see my exact portfolio, our exit strategy, our whole team. The Warrior Academy is a community and a tribe. This is what we talk about. We help each other out, okay? But here's where we're going worse. And I want to put this stuff on video. I want it's 222 on the thing, by the way. I want to put this stuff on video because I'm not afraid to put this stuff out there. Because I know this stuff is going to age well. Will I get the times right? Absolutely not. Will I miss some of the timing? Absolutely. But will the conceptual layout of what I'm talking about come true? I believe so. In my heart of hearts, I believe so. Okay? So now here we sit in 2022. Okay? We got this, everybody keeps talking about ISO 20022. Okay? Everybody keeps talking about distributed ledger technology. ISO 20022 is just a messaging system. Okay, there's already banks up and running on the messaging system. Many of them are going to be flipping over, and I think they switched it to 2023. It doesn't matter whether it's 2022, 2023, the feds, I'm doing a YouTube video on it tomorrow, the feds announced they delayed it till 2025, which is the Fed wire, which is connected to Volante, which is connected to Ripple, blah, blah, blah. We can go on that, okay? So we all know the ISO 20002 tokens. We've been studying that for a long time. You have Algorand, you have R3, we have, X on my brain, XLM, XDC, XRP, I said Stellar XLM, right? And you guys can name some of the other ones on there. You guys know, basically you have Corda on there, which is connected to a consensus, which is connected to Ethereum. You have Corda, you have JPM coin. So our system is switching to DLT, and it's already operating some places on DLT. Think of IOTA. You got JPM already has their own coin. The very guy who told us cryptocurrency is a fraud has his own cryptocurrency. Distributed ledger technology, JPM coin. JPN, R3 is working with Wells Fargo, Bank of America is working with Ripple, JPM has their own distributed ledger technology, okay? It's like a Samsung, iPhone, and Cricket Wireless, right? They're all just working on different systems, same concept, which is liquidity. Now, why would they all be focusing on liquidity and moving money at the speed of light? You have to, whereas the economy is going to come collapsing down, and they're going to need to be able to get money to people very, very quickly. This is going to make the Great Depression look like child's play, I'm telling you. The 401ks, the stock market, everything's going to come tumbling down. Number one, we're in a high interest rate environment. Inflation is out of control. The job market is getting destroyed. People's jobs are getting leveraged towards technology. And we're wrapping up the Shemitah in September. And then last, each 7 years, and since like the 1950s, every 7 years Shemitah, which is it's biblical and it's more around agriculture, but I learned it from Waters Above. I would highly recommend you check out his stuff. Every 7 years after a Shemitah, or within the Shemitah, there's a massive financial collapse. Well, look what's happening right now, Warriors. The stock market's overvalued by 195% based on the Warren Buffett indicator. Okay, so now we're in 2022. High interest rate environment, jobs, the great layoff is coming. Money is not cheap anymore. People can't hardly borrow to buy a house. Your mortgage is doubled now if you go to buy a house. So we're gonna hit this real stagnation type thing. I was watching Kathy Woods, and I'm gonna be diving into really cool videos this week. And Kathy Woods was saying Target and Walmart, which is kind of scary. Now I have to analyze this a little bit more. I'm gonna have you guys watch the video in one of my videos this week. Kathy Woods is one of the most innovative investors, and she was talking about the fact that Walmart and Target right now, their inventories are going up. So they're stuck with more inventory. That's scary. And then Amazon had a wholesaler, which is a massive part, a wholesaler, like a big company that had a bunch of small wholesalers that was one of the biggest parts of their company, was gonna go public, but they decided to back off because things are starting to change. Actually, people are buying less now. Why? Because gas is $5, $6. People can't even afford to fart right now. Think about that. People can't even afford to eat right now. They're not worried about jumping onto Amazon. They're not worried about Jordan shoes. They're not worried about going to the movies. They're worried about survival. It's a mechanism that's been bred into us for a very, very long time. So this is going to be the worst time in human history for some people and the greatest time in human history for some people. And some of you are living off of your grandparents' deep, deep subconscious mind programming around the Great Depression. We can't let that happen again, Warriors. You can't let that happen. So 2022, here we are. So we're going to start to see a big change with the ISO 20022. We're going to see a slow implementation through 2025. I believe by 2025, most banks are going to be operating on distributed ledger technology, moving money at the speed of light. Swift will get up and running. They'll have their own system. You're going to have XLM, which is going to be working with a lot of consumers. They're working with some banks as well. You're going to have XRP, XLM. You need to figure out who the winners and losers are. 2022 to 2025 is going to be the shift in the financial system, okay? Now there's another whole shift that we're not talking about. So the shift to the financial system is going to be 2025, getting the rails built through blockchain, moving the money at the speed of light. distributed ledger technology, okay? Then there's gonna be a shift from 2025 to 2030, which is zero carbon. Okay, now this is gonna be a whole nother investment strategy that we're gonna be working on in the Warrior Academy. As we transition, we packed our bags in DLT and supply chain management. So they gotta fix the supply chain. They have to fix the movement of money. Okay, so once they fix the supply chain and the movement of money, they start taking us into this zero carbon narrative. You're gonna start to see like companies like Ford, Chrysler, GM getting subsidized big time. Actually, Biden was just talking about this. He was talking, firing back at Elon Musk, and he was saying, you go to the moon, we got Ford, GM, because they're subsidizing them, right? They're subsidizing them for this zero carbon narrative. You're gonna start to see more electric cars. You're gonna see companies being forced to use electric cars. You're gonna see everybody switching to gas, solar, wind. I don't know if it's good or bad, it's what it is. It's where we're heading to, right? So you're gonna see this massive zero carbon narrative, and that's gonna be a whole other amazing investment strategy for us to get into. Okay, you're also gonna see carbon credits. If companies are not up and running, you're gonna see Exxon, Mobil, all these different companies transitioning to energy companies. Mark my word. You're gonna start seeing them transferring to energy companies. It's just what's gonna happen, Warriors. By 2030, they're gonna try to take us to zero carbon, right? Everything's gonna be interconnected. We went from hotels to Airbnbs. Hotels are getting crushed right now. We went from taxis to Ubers. We went from pizza delivery boys and girls or gals to some random person delivering your pizza, okay? We went from owning things, the American dream, to having a 30-year mortgage that we never pay off because materialism and commercialism, that we shift, if that's the right word, we shift into a new home before we pay it off or keep it up with the Joneses. We get a bigger house we can't afford. We don't even pay off our cars anymore. We have 84-month loans, so we never own anything. The phone that I'm doing this off of right now, think about that for just a moment. We rent them. You have to rent them. They literally won't even let you pay them off now, Verizon. You have to put it into your plan. So we don't own our phones, we don't own our homes, we don't own our cars. And I'm saying the majority of people, we're gonna have people comment, you did a good job if you do. We don't own the land, we don't own the cars. We've set this ourselves up into the system where we let this happen, okay? So we're all ready to move into this next phase. So this phase is chopped off. This is the past now. Cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. What it's going to look like in the next 12 to 24 months, I don't know. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to go. I've never talked about bull runs or bear markets a little bit. I shouldn't say never because someone will bring up a video. I haven't done price predictions. I never told people like, hey, listen, I think it's going to go to $1,000. I've had some videos say 589, clickbait type stuff because it's just everybody thinks this. I don't know where the cryptocurrency is going to go. What I do know is this is the future. This is the future. It's like a group of people sitting there and gas and oil companies in the 1900s are coming up and we're like, wait a minute. Those cars that they're building are gonna need gas, they're gonna need oil, they're gonna need factories, they're gonna need parts. Think about that for just a moment. These companies are gonna need gas, oil, parts. I'm gonna go make carburetors, or I'm gonna come up with a supply chain that's gonna move those carburetors faster so those companies can get, so we're all vying for those positions in the companies that are going to start to move the money at speed of light. The companies like VeChain that are going to create the supply chain management. So we have to pull ourselves up to this 30,000 foot overview and get the hell out of the charts, Warriors. You're going to get crushed if you hang out in the charts. You're going to. If you're a day trader, I'm not talking to you. If you're trying to short the market, I'm not talking to you. But if you're like me, a fundamental long-term investor who is looking to build generational wealth, and what does that mean? It's wealth that goes from generation to generation. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about knowledge. Knowledge, I sat down and did a whole PowerPoint for my daughter who just turned 18, breaking this down. Let me take a deep breath. Now, I don't know if I am right, but what I know is it's working for me, okay? I also want to talk, and we'll end this video right here, but I want to talk to you guys about diversification, okay? Diversification is really important. One of the biggest things is when I jumped into cryptocurrency is I was kind of back in the same position. I had pushed everything into crypto, and if I would have just focused on that, and I wouldn't have sought wise counsel and started to understand how to build wealth, is that when everything came collapsing back down, if I was living off my crypto, I'd be back in the same place. So what I started to do is I started to really diversify in my business practices, right? We built a 7-figure online company. We're about to build another 7-figure online company. We have 2 and 5 figures that are going to be 6-figure. We have an app coming out that's, I believe, is going to be a $1 billion company, just of course my opinion and projections. But I didn't just sit back and focus on crypto. I expanded into business. I expanded into my leveraged life insurance. I bought a little bit of silver. So I highly recommend you start to diversify, okay, and understand how money flow works, okay? So I have my leveraged life insurance policy that I can borrow against just in case anything happens. I have my cryptocurrencies that I dollar cost average into, okay, very, very important. Okay, I have a little bit of silver. I don't have a ton of silver, and never keep your silver where you live. I keep it stored somewhere else. What else do we got going on? We got businesses. Businesses, I believe in the future, many of you people are crypto people, or some of you are influencers in crypto. I believe the top companies are going to be crypto education, people who can teach people how to use TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and help companies come into this new era and advertise their companies on social media, okay? And number 3 is mindfulness. I believe those are going to be 3 of the top producing companies from home jobs here in the future. And I have a company that helps people with that. You can actually get the free blueprint in my social media. So we covered a lot today. I wanted to give you guys the macro view of how my brain works. That's why I don't flinch. That's why I don't trip. I buy the dip. That's why I diamond hand. That's why I hold the line. That's why I don't listen to a bunch of YouTubers. I don't listen to a bunch of different wise counsel. I seek wise counsel. I listen to Kathy Woods, Ray Dalio, Robert Kiyosaki. I listen to different people in business like Alex Hormozi, Gary Vee. So if you're looking at business, those are 2 people that I hyper focus on. If you look at financial, Ray Dalio, Kathy Woods, I watch all her videos. Robert Kiyosaki, he's starting to get a little angry. He's kind of getting a little edgy. I get it. Stansberry Research, great channel, Stansberry Research, and ITM Trading, which is my silver dealer here in Arizona, Lynette Zhang. So she runs the YouTube channel for them as well. Those are some wise counsel, because pump and dump YouTubers is not wise counsel. I'm not bashing anybody out there, but what you're going to see with the influencer space is influencers are getting crushed right now. They're literally coming, because when it's not fun anymore in crypto, right now it's not fun. That's why we're doing well and our views are going up, and I'm going viral and my team is going viral, because we've never been focused on bullshit. We never did pump and dumps. We've been talking about this shit when it wasn't cool. We've been talking about this stuff, which is what's actually happening. This is fundamentals. This is what's happening in the markets, warriors. Warren Buffett's not sitting there looking if SHIB is going to go to the moon. Warren Buffett has his pen and paper out. It's like, okay, this company's about to collapse. The stock market's about to collapse. Which companies are going to be here in 5 years? Which companies have the right leadership team? I know they're going to collapse, but I believe they'll come back because of X, Y, and Z. That's why I believe in Ripple. That's why I believe in XRP, the token. Because of the leadership team, the real world solve, the board of directors. That's why I believe in XLM. Love Jed McHale. I love what he's doing. That's why I believe in things like 88 Cardano. CEO's a beast. That's why I believe in things like VeChain. I watch the CEO. He travels like 276 days a year promoting that cryptocurrency and is deep in the infrastructure of supply chain already. It's not a game to him. He doesn't care about the ups or downs of the market. They're out there working, and just like I am. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm the CEO of 3T Warrior Academy. My son got picked up, my daughter's working, and I'm here on Sunday grinding because I don't need work-life balance. Work-life balance is one of the biggest scams in the world. You need work-life balance if you don't like what you do. My son got picked up, boom, I jumped in my supercar, boom, I just want to throw my supercar. Came over here, boom, I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm studying. After I get off this, I'll have the board up, okay? I have the board up, I'm looking, I'm like, what's the next move for our company? What's the next move for our company? How can we help more people? How can I help more business owners get into this space that we're in, producing income 24 hours a day? How can I free more people through free information? So I love you guys. I appreciate it. You can tell I'm fired up. Whereas we're going to out-media the media. I'm doing personally 7 pieces of content a day. 7 pieces of content a day. My team as a whole, we're doing close to 17 pieces of content a day. Why? Because this information needs to be out there, warriors. This information needs to be out there, warriors. This is Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and Chris Rock. Who gives a fuck what they're doing right now? No offense to them and their lives. No offense to Kim Kardashian and all those people. But warriors, you are a superstar. You are special. You are amazing. This is the greatest time in human history. And I don't give a shit what haters say, warriors. Haters are like a rash. If you scratch it, it gets worse. If you ignore it and leave it alone, it actually finds another organism to infect, warriors. That's why I don't get all fancy for these videos. That's why I don't care if my hair is all crazy, warriors. I'm here to spread information, but I'm here to spread information that I'm living and breathing, okay? So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys a lot. All right, so if you want to join the Private Warrior Academy, click the description down below. You can join or go to www.3twarrior.com. Check out my social media pages, CoachJV_. In my social media pages, there's only one CoachJV_. Working to get verified. There's so many scammers out there. If you go in the description of this video down below, I'll have to add it after this. Sorry about that. I will add everything in just a moment. So if you're watching this right now, it won't be in there. But after this video renders, I will get it all in there. Everything you need is down there. Where's free 7-figure blueprint on how I built a 7-figure company online, how I'm scaling another one. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm doing it. I just want to help you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Love you.